there, and that's pretty much where the book's based from. I hope you all read Dutch because the book's in Dutch. So, but the pictures are all in English, so you're fine. Okay, come on in, ladies and gentlemen. Grab a seat. Are there any seats left? Yeah, we can evict some of the students if you want. You're all right at the moment, ladies. Don't worry. Come on in if anyone wants to grab a seat. Anyone sitting down will get a sample, I promise you. If you're in the front row, you get first choice of samples. Don't be frightened. Come on in, there's room for 2 small people here. Have a seat. All of you people standing don't want samples, no? None of you want to eat chocolate cake? No? Really? More for me? Come and take a seat then. Here's the deal. Sit down, you'll get a sample. Ask a question, you'll definitely get a sample. And you'll get a mug. I had someone message us on Facebook last night and said, how do I get a mug? I said, ask a question. Oh, I didn't know that. I must have said it about 15 times. Okay, so I am very kindly going to evict this young lady off the stage. Thank you very much. So why are we so tight on timers, or why are we so accurate on timings? Because we are going live. We are going live on Facebook. We are going live on YouTube. We are live streaming this, okay? So the team here at Solent Creative, thank you very much to those guys. Put on an amazing effort yesterday. We reached over 50,000 people on our Facebook stream yesterday. That VAT pack machine keeps, every time it does me, I'm like, whoa. So that's why we're going live exactly at 11 o'clock. The live stream goes out at 11 o'clock. If you are watching it on Facebook, give us a like, give us a comment, let us know you're watching it. You can watch it when you get home. It will be there. If you go onto YouTube, you can watch it on YouTube. They're archived, so you can watch them there. So just before Bev comes on, as I said, she's going to be doing lots and lots of different things for you today. I think she's got 4 different things she's going to show you. But they include how to build a chocolate cake and to show you the layering techniques. She's going to be covering the cake with a ganache. She's going to be showing you how to whip the ganache and pipe the ganache. And then she's also going to be showing you how to make these amazing chocolate flowers here. Okay, so she's going to be taking us through that. And then showing us how we get it to this stage, which I think, as you can see, is pretty stunning. Okay, so a man in my ears just told me we're 30 seconds away. So when we get to 10, we're going to start counting down. You're all going to count in with me. Okay, almost there. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to StaffCanteen Live. We're live on YouTube, Facebook. Give us a wave. Come on. Come on. I know it's early in the morning, but let's go. Come on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Bev Dunkley and her able assistant today, Julie Sharp. So, without further ado, because I've done far too much talking already, over to you, Bev. Tell us what you're doing today.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Well, welcome everyone to Canteen Live. I just want to plug 2 websites first of all. Calabat has a fantastic website. You can find out loads of recipes, product information and techniques by Calabat TV. But also the UK has a separate website as well called For the Love of Choc. You've all got a leaflet on your chairs. So all the recipes and the techniques that we're going to be showing you today, well, you can look again on the films. So we have 10 Make It Special films on the website for you to go back and look again with all the recipes. So today I'm actually going to feature one of our Make It Special. And why do we want to make it special? So we all know base techniques by going to college and learning in the trade, but we're just giving that extra technique so you have the confidence to use chocolate and to make things that extra bit added value. So this simple flower, some of you, I don't know if you can see it well, it actually probably looks quite complicated, but all this flour is using just a normal office knife. So I'm going to show the technique of that in my third demonstration. So first of all, we have to make a good cake. We have to make a good cake that tastes good. So when I was at college, we had made a base cake, and we probably cut it into maybe 3 or 4 slices. But with these fantastic melts, this is from a company, Demal, it means I can actually scale 200 grams or whatever weight you need of the individual slice of the cake, and you've already got it there, nice and flat, ready, the same level. So I've got here actually a beer sponge. It's on the website, as I mentioned, 200 grams. The cake is nice and dark, obviously from the beer. But also it's got a nice Calabar cocoa powder in here that's high fat. So it's a rich brown colour, it's high in fat, so it gives a really, really nice eating moist sponge. So to layer out the cake, you can see I've actually put the sponge on a card, but I've also put it on scales. So I know all my base layers here are 200 grams. I'm actually going to weigh in the same amount of cream, buttercream on each layer. So I've actually got an Italian meringue-based buttercream here with milk chocolate. And I'm actually using a Calabar 823 chocolate. So I'll put that on 0 degrees. I'm actually going to pipe on 75 grams. In a spiral again, so I can get it as even as I can. Okay. So it may just need to just lever that off a little bit to get level. And then as easy as anything, then we can place another sponge on the top. So just levering that off in between, putting that on tear again, and we place some more cream. So I have flavoured this with Calabar 823 milk chocolate, but you could also use the dark 811, which is a 54% cocoa solids as well.
I think the audience have had some chocolate. Have you all had some chocolate already? How was it?
It's good. So
you haven't had any? You have? I told you, sit down, you get chocolate.
So you can see there, I'm really happy now. I've got nice layers, I've got even cream and even sponge. So I'm now going to move that onto a turntable, and we're going to start the process of putting cream around the sides of the cake. So this is always quite tricky getting it level. So a nice good tip, I've got the same cake card. I'm going to place it on the top so I can have nice clean hands as I do that. This Italian-based chocolate buttercream, can you see how beautiful and soft it is? So it's so easy to mask the sides of the cake. So now I can keep it nice and flat by just pressing onto my top cake card, and then just with the knife I can evenly spread the cream nice and even. I'm also going to have a little bit of cream ooze out from the layers anyway, and that will help it get nice and smooth.
You can tell how good these guys are by how little I have to talk.
We're used to talking, Mark.
So am I, apparently, according to our team. Okay, so coming into the audience now, we have a sample of the cake that Bev is making for you.
Yep.
So as you can see, as you mentioned earlier, have a look at the even layers. Make sure the people sat down, get them first, please.
So don't forget, it's going to be a bit of a shock.
That was my deal. People sat down, get them first.
Because it's going to be a beer sponge, you're going to get a bit of a shock. So I hope you can see now, we've got all the sides nice and level. Just having on a turntable just makes it that slightly bit easier. We can remove the top, as you can see now. So I just need to place a little bit of cream just to even that over, and then we're ready to go. I'm going to glaze the cake next, but I wouldn't glaze it while it was this soft. I'll then put this in a 5-degree fridge at least an hour, and then that's ready, nice and firm, so it won't melt with the ganache. So I'll just do one last little wipe up there, and I'm happy. That's all nice and level, ready to glaze.
And as you can see, Julie's just brought one out. If we can all imagine that that's now been in the fridge, which it has.
So stage 2, glazing the cake. So at least wait 1 hour, 5-degree fridge. And then I'm going to make a ganache now. It's already made for me, in fact. And this is a very simple recipe.
Can I be a real pain and put that there? Would that be a pain? No, that. Or do you need it there?
I'm going to glaze it.
All right, fine. Leave it there. It's fine.
Okay. So I'm actually going to be making glazing with a 1-to-1 ganache here. So that's very simple. It's just 1 part chocolate and 1 part cream. So again, I'm using a dark chocolate here. It is actually the Calabat 811 54% cocoa solids. So all we're going to do, we put both ingredients in a bowl. These have just been placed in a microwave just for 1 minute. So the next thing for you is to make a decision when you pour. So always check that the glaze literally coats the sides of the bowl. If it doesn't coat the sides of the bowl, then wait. Don't be in a hurry to pour. Wait 10 minutes and then just make sure, again, it coats the side of the bowl. If you pour too early, you're going to have too thin a layer, maybe translucent on the cake. So just definitely make sure that's ready. So I'm actually very happy with that. So first of all, I'm going to pour around the sides so it coats. Okay. And then we're going to pour some ganache on the top.
Bev, I'm sure you've already mentioned it, but just tell us again what chocolate is you're using.
Yeah, it's Calabat 811, Mark.
Calabat 811.
Yeah, Calabat
okay.
811. Now, don't worry if you miss an edge like that. The best thing to do is not scrape it. Pick out some ganache on a palette knife and then just follow down with the palette knife just to make sure you don't get any ugly ruffles or anything of that nature. So I'm happy that's well covered.
As Bev mentioned earlier, all of these recipes are on their website, but it's now time for me to plug the Staff Canteen. They've also very kindly supplied the recipes to us at the Staff Canteen. So you can find them on there. If you go to our recipe section, you can either search Bev by name or search the recipe and you'll find the recipe there. Or, of course, you can go onto the For Love of Chocolate website and you'll find the recipe there.
Yep. So I'm happy now. We could actually just bang the cake if you think it just needs movement of the glass further down. So the next task is to move this off the actual cooling wire. I've made sure all the equipment's nice and clean here because you can see there's quite a bit of ganache fell onto the tray, so that can be reused. So always make sure you use nice, clean equipment. So I'm doing a nice circular motion so I can cut off the ganache and then I can easily have that nice and clean with no trails of ganache to place on a nice clean card. So I've played on a slightly bigger card, so therefore it's easy to then transport to the restaurant table.
Cheers. What a double act.
So then moving on to this lovely sunflower, don't you think that's a fantastic colour? So for this we do need tempered chocolate. So I'm not going to talk about tempering today, but you can find all the details on how to temper on the Calabat website. That's www.calabat.com. And they all different methods where you're going to do microwave or seeding with my cryo or with the button of the callets. So every different method feasible on working with the chocolate.
Brilliant.
Okay. You can have a slice later, Mark.
Can I thank you?
Yes.
I think the audience have eaten them all, look.
So first of all, we need a base for the flour because obviously we've got to move it onto the cake. And this can all be made in advance, so you've got it mise en place. If you are a pastry chef, sometimes it drives you insane, or waiters come in for a last-minute birthday cake. So it's always best to have something up your sleeve ready to serve out in the restaurant. So what we have here, again, is the 811 dark chocolate of Calabat, 54% cocoa solids. And all I've done, I've tempered the chocolate. And I've actually spread it onto a clear plastic. That's not necessary. You can use silicone paper if you want to. So I've just ladled on the chocolate onto the board here. I've spread it out with a palette knife. And then we've just had to wait maybe 1 or 2 minutes just for the chocolate just to go off its high shine and set. But it's still cuttable. So just very simply with a round cutter, then I've cut individual portions. The next thing to do is to stop these actually curling, because as the chocolate is setting, it's going to contract. So we're going to place another board on the top while you put it in some kind of cooling area so the pieces don't actually curl. Now the cooling of chocolate is really important. At all costs, we try and avoid a 5-degree fridge so we don't get any sugar bloom on the product. So what we do is maybe put it in as near as we can as 12-degree storage and for about an hour.
How was the cake? I can see you all with lots and lots of empty trays. How was it? Good?
It's good.
Yum is good, yeah? We like yum.
So then we're doing the sunflower. So we need to create the centre of the sunflower. So you can see it kind of a half-domed, kind of textured piece. So I've got here a 5 centimetre sphere mould. And what we've done, we've placed the 811 Calabar callets in a Thermomix, or you can use a RoboCube. And if you do it at speed 4.5, first of all it grates the chocolate, and then it mills down to a nice little pearl just by the friction and warmth of the blade. So you can stop the Thermomix when you see all these tiny round little pearls of chocolate, and if you stop it and you just feel some of the chocolate, it should actually hold together. If it still crumbles back down, just spin it a bit more at 4.5 degree, speed 4.5, and then just wait for it to mould together. And then I've just pressed that into the mould. Just to secure that, because that should come out, but you can see some pieces do fall apart, I've just piped some tempered chocolate on the base just to make sure that's really nice and secure, and that will come out nice and evenly as a separate piece. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use yellow chocolate, but normally I would use the same colour that I'm actually moulding with. And I'm just going to secure the centre of the flower onto the base. Now to create the petals, all I'm going to be using is a normal simple office knife. So I do have some coloured white chocolate here, tempered white chocolate, okay. So
Bev,
it's very important the chocolate's crystallised, Mark, otherwise it's not going to set. Okay.
Sorry, how did you make the chocolate yellow? What did you use?
Aha. Well, it's 2 things you can do. You can use fat-based powder colours, or you can buy 100% cocoa butter product called Power Flowers. So to learn about any of these commodities, if you like, just visit the Calabar stand just behind. They can give full details, Mark. Is
Brilliant.
that all right?
Thank you.
So I've got a nice deep container. So my knife is completely immersed. And then I'm just going to clean the back of the knife. And then I'm just going to shake off a little bit of the chocolate. And then I've got some clear acetate here, but again, that's not major important. If you've got silicone paper, that'll work just as well. And I've got a board. I'm just going to place it on the edge of the board. I'm going to place the knife upside down now. And what I've got the chocolate, the knife kind of floating. I'm not pressing hard on the board at all. And then I need to put my fingers either side, and then I'm going to pull off the knife. And what that does is actually create the vein of the individual petal. Okay, so I'll just do that again. So immerse the knife. I'm going to totally clear the back of the knife. If there's too much on, just shake a bit of chocolate off. And then I'm going to place that on so it's floating, so we can gently pull that away.
Bev, the last thing I am is a pastry chef, but if you use different sized knives, could you do different sized petals?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've used like putty knives and all sorts of different. Do you want to have a go?
No.
No, come on.
No.
Come on, it's really easy.
No, really, it's going so well.
Now, some people find it hard to kind of hold the fingers and pull up. So another technique is to have it on there and then use the board to pull it off by just stroking the knife on one edge. It's a bit slower, that method, but you'll get a nice result. Okay, so you just pull it off on that way. So again, the storage of this is very important. So we'll put this in a fridge again of 12 degrees, cooling air of 12 degrees for about an hour. And then what you'll find is that the individual petals will gently just move away, ready to place on onto the flowers. So to get some kind of movement, it's nice if the petals aren't flat. So what I've got here is just a ring of tight cling film, and that will just raise the petals as I'm sticking those together. Piping back. So
Bev, ideal sort of thing for Mother's Day cakes?
Absolutely. And Mother Day coming up in March is absolutely fantastic.
Will it keep to March for my mum?
No. I'm okay, sorry.
You mentioned the colour agent that you put in the chocolate. I guess, again, there's lots of different colours you can put and make different sort of flowers.
Absolutely, yeah. So obviously this is a brilliant yellow, but you can do every spectrum of the rainbow, especially with the power flowers. So it's ideal to just use the same coloured chocolate for the petals. If you've got time, you just let them kind of set on their own. But a lot of people are doing showpiece work do use like a cool spray. I've got some here. So that just helps it instantly set, and then you can move on. So we can see here the petals, and then once you've gone all the way round, then you can do another layer. So again, this is where the cool spray will be much more efficient, because I haven't got the cling film now to actually hold that in place. So just by spraying a little bit of the cool spray, tiny bit, that just helps that stay in position straight away so you can move on. So I've done 2 layers here, but you can go around 3 times, which I've done on the cake design here in front of you. Okay. So I think you agree that would really make something really special, Marco.
That looks amazing.
Okay. If you had to go, you could make one for your mum. Okay. Now, you can see on the sides of the cake, we've got this beautiful sunflower on the top, but on the sides, it's just done exactly the same decoration. So just using the office knife, obviously then you can just do with dark chocolate. And if you do use clear plastic, then you've got this fantastic high sheen. You just have to be careful of finger marks. So when we're usually touching the chocolate, we'll probably use some nice cotton gloves, and then you won't get loads of finger marks. So simple, very effective for any special occasion. Okay, so you can see that all on the website for the love of chocolate.
Can we see that on the overhead? Okay. Any questions for Bev? I know you had a question, madam. So I'm going to come down. If you can introduce yourself and then ask Bev the question.
I'm Leslie. This young lady's too shy to ask the question, Bev, so I'll ask it for her. Was it whipping cream, double cream, or single cream in your ganache?
Thank you for that question, Leslie. It's actually whipping cream. So all chocolatiers use whipping cream for ganache work, maybe sauces, and also for the centre ganaches for chocolates.
Thank you very
much. They do that because we go in different countries. I know it's 35% fat, but also it doesn't overmask the high fat, a lot of infused flavours that we might do. So we can taste more of the cocoa from the chocolate.
Thank you very much.
Great question. Any other questions while I'm down here? Yes, sir. Again, if you can introduce yourself and then ask the question.
Stu Houston here. Just wondering, from start to finish, how long would this process take from when you've begun it to when you can present it?
Yeah, so if I was in the kitchen, I'd obviously have sponges ready in the freezer. The actual cake itself, when it's laid with buttercream, you can do that in advance and have those frozen. And then you could also have the flour made in advance as well. It's best to maybe make the petals maybe the day before. Okay. So what happens then, the chocolate's going to crystallize well, so they're going to be more stable than if you're making them an hour before. Okay. So everything's best made in advance. So any of those quiet hours you get, you can do your main production and just get them ready to tap. So obviously if you've got your cake in the freezer, within an hour it can be eaten, it's going to be defrosted. So you'd put that in a 5-degree fridge from the freezer, let it defrost, make your ganache. That takes literally 1 minute in the microwave. Pour it over. You can do that well in advance. You can do that 4 hours in advance if you want. And then you can do the flowers. I just want to mention one thing about the ganache. You can see that now it's got a really high shine. But can you see this one was done yesterday evening? So with the one-to-one ganache with the chocolate, you get a fantastic taste of chocolate, but there's one slight disadvantage: it's not going to stay this shiny, okay? But if you did this now and you were going to serve it for the scene, it's going to go dull. If you did it 2 hours before it went in the restaurant, it's still going to be shiny. But it's not a high shine, but it's that lovely matte shine, do you know what I mean? I don't know if satin, we'll call it a satin shine. So it's still very acceptable, but the main advantage over the new trend glazes is it's the chocolate taste. Wonderful. Okay, so and it cuts nice. It doesn't do like a pull through with a knife, so it's really nice.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, great question. Time for one more question over here. We will do more questions at the end. Okay, so yes, if you can introduce yourself and then ask the question.
Christine from Merritt Harrison Catering Consultancy.
I need a buttercream.
Christine from Merritt Harrison Catering Consultancy. I wanted to know what temperature Bev would recommend storing that cake at when it's completed.
Bev, did you hear that?
No, sorry.
Sorry, what temperature do you store the cake at?
Oh, sorry. And when it's actually finished, It's an interesting one because we've got to be careful about the sugar bloom on the chocolate, yeah. But with this buttercream, it's not health risk or anything like that. So I would just keep it as cool as you can. If we can, we try and store it about 12 degrees. Okay. So I'll do that.
Okay, we will come back out to you at the end of the session for more questions, but Bev's got one more thing to show us.
Yeah, so all of this technique here, the cake, the buttercream, the ganache and the flour all features as one 10 ways to make it special on the For Love of Chocolate website. Another one is actually making a birthday candle, a chocolate birthday candle. So this is something, again, you can have made in advance, and then whether you're going to serve it with petit fours, or again, you can put it on a cake, or just send a plate out with happy birthday on. So it's a very simple technique. It's very important for this one, we do have the tempered chocolate again. So I'm using the Calabout white chocolate W2. So I've got here a piece of clear acetate. Again, you can use silicone. Silicone paper is not a problem. So this is actually 10 centimeters by 7, so it's very fine. And you can see I've got some sellotape here, and that's just going to help me roll and seal the candle. So I'm just placing it on the edge of my board. I've got some white chocolate in the piping bag here. It's all been tempered. And it's just easier to do it with the piping bag. I'm actually just going to pipe on some chocolate. And then with a small palette knife, I'm just going to take that right to the edges. So I'm literally going to have to take that right over my silicone paper or my acetate. Not too thin. And then I'm literally going to move it, so I get rid of all their edges. So we're just going to place it to a nice clean area, and that gives you plenty of time then just to clean up, ready to do the next candle. So I'm just going to roll that up now. So this is a bit scary because you've got to kind of roll it so it folds over. And it doesn't matter if it folds on chocolate that you've already paletted, that's the whole idea. Whoops, this isn't going too well at the moment. There's the heat from the lights.
It's that live stage curse, isn't there?
Yeah. So what you do...
Says the lady who said to me, do you want to go at this, Mark?
Mark, would you like to have a go at this? I'll do another one. So what you do then, you'd place that in a fridge. Again, 12 degrees if you can, or just a cool area for at least an hour. So I'll just do one more. So we just put on some chocolate, spread it with a knife again. Yeah, the temperature of the lights here is not the perfect environment for chocolate. We would normally be working in a room of 19, 20 degrees.
It's like a tanning salon, isn't it, behind
It's
here?
like a tanning salon. So normally the chocolate's already starting to set, but it's not going to set here today. So I'm going to roll that over, that's better. And you see we actually roll that completely like a tube. So again, that will go in the fridge for at least an hour. But I'm talking the fridge, I'm talking of a cool air of 12 degrees. So then, scalpel.
As I say, start thinking about some questions that you want to ask, because we will be coming into the audience at the end to ask you some questions. You may have noticed that some people who ask questions, this lady here, even though she was shy, she has a world-famous StaffCanteen mug. So the second deal is, if you ask a question, you'll get a StaffCanteen mug. Okay, these are mugs that literally money cannot buy.
Absolutely. So then you've got your tube, and then with an office knife or with a scalpel, you then got to cut the sellotape. So that's a bit tricky, and it's already melting here, so I'm not going to be able to get this off. But what you do, you peel it off, and it will break a bit. So the bit where you've rolled over will break off. So what you end up at the end is like a nice round tube. So we have a base, just cut the same as we talked about for the base of the sunflower. And then you'll just need to pipe some chocolate just inside the tube to make that stand up on the base. I'm just going to use some Ada, some cool spray to make sure that sets nicely. Okay. And then we can fill that with some mousse or with any flavoured cream. I'm just using the Italian meringue that we did earlier. And then we need obviously a flame for our candle. So I have here some acetate again, but again you can use silicone paper, where I've brushed on coloured cocoa butters to make the flame. So I've brushed on red and obviously yellow, as you can see there. I've then placed on some tempered white chocolate just to set, and then just freehand just cut the nice frame. So individually that will be as so. Okay. So then you can pop that nice and gently on top of your candle and the mousse. So then we've got to create the effect of a candle. So we can just do that very simply by just having chocolate in a piping bag, and then we can just do our imagination on the drips of the candle actually melting. So again, these are all items you can make in advance and just have them on ready tap just to shoot out on a petit four plate or a plated dessert. Just to make it extra special for a member of your restaurant whose birthday it is.
Hopefully you can all see that. It looks amazing, doesn't it?
Okay. So then you can see on the plate here, we just piped happy anniversary. Obviously you pipe anything for the occasion. And voila, ready to go. So I hope you agree that's two fantastic, very simple ideas on how to make it special with very simple effects.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to come into the audience now, and hopefully you've got some questions to ask. But before I do that, I think you'll all agree that that deserves an amazing round of applause. So please,
Thank you.
Bev Dunkley, what an amazing display. Thank you very, very much. Okay, hands up who has a question. Yes, students from UCB, fantastic. Okay, go on then, Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. And what's the temperature for white chocolate?
Yeah, all the chocolates have a different temperature. So for white, we're doing 28 to 29 degrees.
Okay.
So what we always do is try and remember the dark temperature, which is actually 31, 32, and then milk's 1 degree lower than that, and white's 1 degree lower than that.
Okay. Thank you.
You have to be more careful working with white chocolate because there's a lot more sugar. So we've got sugar, high sugar, and sugar in the milk powders. Okay. So we work at a lower temperature.
Go on then, Megan.
Hi, I'm Megan. Have you always wanted to work with chocolate, or is it something like recently, or is that what you've always wanted to do, is work with pastry and chocolate and things like that?
I think as a pastry chef, you've got to learn all skills, and then it's so difficult to be a specialist of everything. So I've been doing chocolate for 10 years, so you can study. I've got another 10 years to learn.
Favourite area within pastry then, chocolate, would you say?
It is. I feel more confident because I'm confident.
Yeah.
So whatever skills you build, you're going to be confident in what you would specialise in, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
And it's very addictive.
Great question. Okay, anyone else got any questions? Yes, sir. If you can introduce, I'll come to you after. If you can introduce yourself to Bev and then ask the question.
Yeah, hi, it's Chris Woods. I'm from Grimsby Institute Further and Higher Education. Who do you admire? Yeah, no. Who do you admire most? Who's got the most skills at the moment with chocolate work in industry?
Oh, that's a really good question.
No pressure.
No pressure. I think I'm going to say, 10 years ago, yeah, my colleague Julie, 10 years ago, we did a first showpiece course at Banbury. It was 2005, and we filled that showpiece course, and everyone at work said you'll never fill it. But believe me, since that moment, there's so many more people learning showpieces. So I think England's a great place now. There's so much more knowledge about generally working with chocolate, and there's so many artists out there. I would hate to mention one in particular, but
That's a cop-out then.
yeah, it's a bit of a cop-out. But at the UK Academy, we have two main people maybe three main people that do showpiece courses for us. One's a great craftsman called Martin Chivers, and he's just been doing the Coupe de Monde for a UK team. And we've also got Mark Tilling, who's on Creme de la Creme. They're so confident and great craft. And also John Costello. So they're three key ambassadors for us for showpieces on our courses.
Excellent.
Banbury.
Thank you for the question. Yes, sir. If you can introduce yourself and then ask the question to Bev, and don't lean back when I put the microphone down.
Hi, I'm James. Just wanted to know, where can you get the cool spray from, and are there any other techniques for setting the chocolate quickly?
Where do you get it from? What was the second question?
And are there any other techniques for setting it quickly?
Yeah. So the cool spray, you can get it from quite a few companies. This is the one we sell, because we have a sister company called IBC.
Okay.
So if you just finish it at the Calabat stand after the demonstration, they're going to tell you where to get that from, if that's all right.
Yep.
This is an instant fix. So when you see people doing showpieces, they've always got this in one hand because it instantly sets it. The only other way is, like, I had the cling film, is really to let it set on its own.
Okay.
So chocolate will set very quickly if it's tempered right within 3 minutes, but it's not really going to be secure for maybe 5 to actually let go.
Okay, thank you.
But if you're resting it, on like cling film or something like that, then it's acceptable.
That's great, cheers.
Okay.
Brilliant. Okay, time for one more question. Anyone else got a question? No? No more questions? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, one last time, please. Bev Dunkley, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Just before you all go, Julie here to my right is going to be on stage with us tomorrow. And Julie's going to be showing us more wonderful techniques. So if you've learned something today, you've been inspired today, please come back tomorrow because it's Julie's turn tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, what an amazing display. Thank you very much. Go and have a chat with the guys at Calabar now. They can tell you about the chocolates used. They can give you some more advice. They can help you out. Okay, so we are going to whisk Bev off to do some media stuff over here. And when we do, our team are going to be setting up. We got Nick Edgar coming up next. Nick's over there.